Parents, this video is for you if your kiddo's suffering with night terrors. And this is different than nightmares, which happen on occasion, but terrors are that unconsolable. You can't get them out of it. They happen consistently and they are so intense. And as a parent, your heart breaks for your kiddo. I know for my son, when he does wake up with a nightmare, how distressing it is to go into his room and just hear him crying. And fortunately, being able to wake him up out of it and get him to feel safe again is one thing. But if your kiddo is dealing with these night terrors, I know how tough it can be. So what I want to share with you today is how we look at this in our office as a neurologically based chiropractor, because we're going to look at it different than going to your pediatrician, which you've probably consulted with, and maybe they said, don't worry, they'll outgrow it. Maybe they say, yeah, there's nothing wrong with your kiddo, they'll be okay down the road. And even if you know deep down, yeah, there's nothing deeply wrong with my kiddo, it still makes your heart break to see them struggling. So when we look at the nervous system, which we do with our neurological approach in our office, there's two main things we want to look at. There's a brake pedal that your child's nervous system uses to slow things down, and ultimately that's the critical piece for good sleep at night. And then there is the gas pedal. The gas pedal is what our nervous system is in during the day. It allows us to run and play outside. It allows you as an adult to get a project done or a work deadline or do some exercise. It allows us to activate and get things done. When we're winding down for the evening, we want to start to use the brake pedal side of our nervous system. This brake pedal side, the main area we talk a lot about in our office is the vagus nerve. It comes from the brainstem, and it's one of the keys. It's about 75% of the brake pedal to slow us down and start to activate going into sleep. Now, as an example, we had a 2-year-old girl who didn't have nighttime terrors, but she would come up out of her nap every day in a terror, in a panic. Mom said she would wake up from her nap and have a 2-hour meltdown because her body was stuck in this stressed out mode. Fortunately, once we started adjusting her, her body responded really quickly. And within a week and a half, Mom said those 2-hour meltdowns after a nap were smaller, and in a short time after that, she would wake up from a nap, be smiling, happy, ready to go on with the rest of the afternoon. The key for her was her body was stuck in this gas pedal mode, so even though she was sleeping, she was still revved up in almost a stressed out state while she was sleeping. So she'd come out of her nap still crying and panicking and couldn't calm down because her body stayed revved up. It couldn't get into that deep sleep that we see when the brake pedal can be activated. So some of the things we see in kiddos is they might have had this gas pedal overactive early on. As an example, if you had a stressful pregnancy, maybe there was difficulty conceiving. As an example, my wife broke her ankle 34 weeks pregnant. She also had a lot on her work plate that she was trying to get all these projects done to be able to take time off. So her nervous system was in a more revved up state. Once baby is in that labor delivery phase, if there is any forceps assistance, maybe birth was stalled or delayed and the doctor had to pull the shoulder through. We talked with one mom where the doctor actually had to reach in and get the head out and then the shoulder out, and there can be stress during labor and delivery. For early childhood or infancy, maybe your kiddo was colicky, they were refluxy, they were constipated, they didn't nurse well. Those can all be signs of early stress in a child's nervous system. As a toddler, maybe it is frequent meltdowns, just not behaving, even though you think, yeah, they're a toddler, they don't always behave, but you feel it's excessive. There's an hour meltdown instead of a 5-minute meltdown. And if you are catching on to some of these things, that can be clues that that gas pedal is stuck on. Another thing that we look at is immune system, because this brake pedal, as you can see, rest, relaxation, digestion, and immune system. So rest is obviously sleep. The digestion could be constipation, but then immune system. So we see kiddos with ear infections, sinus issues, chronic colds. Those can also be signs that a kiddo's nervous system is stuck in fight or flight. So I list all those different things, even though you might think, well, how does that relate to night terrors? They don't directly relate, but they're clues that your child may benefit from the neurological chiropractic we do in our office, because our approach is not to treat night terrors. It's not to treat any of the other things that I mentioned. It's to look at your child's nervous system and say, how well is their brain and their body communicating? Is their nervous system stuck in stress? Is that brake pedal active? Is it able to do its job to slow your kiddo's brain down and get him into that deep, restful sleep that we want? So if that resonates, we have another video all about how we activate sleep with our neurological approach. Feel free to check that out. And ultimately, the way to know if we can help is to give our office a call. We set up on our initial visit, we have some very safe, very gentle neurological scans that measure all the different nerve channels, and they measure to see, is your kiddo's body more in brake pedal or more in gas pedal? And that gives us the tools to know whether we can help or not. So reach out if you want to chat more, if you have any questions, and we're here for you.